Welcome to Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. My mission is to educate, inspire, and empower you all to step into your own life of wealth. That feeling of being so rich in your mind, body, and soul. I'm so happy to have you here. Let's get straight into it. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Women's Wealth, the podcast with me, Joanne. I'm on my own today. I am your host. I really hope you enjoyed the podcast with Libby, my last guest episode. We spoke all about motherhood. Obviously, that's not my area of expertise, so it's lovely to have someone on to be able to talk about that, to share affirmations, mental health, post, prenatal, and some of the expectations that mothers feel that are expected of them, if that makes sense, that shouldn't be. So it was a really nice supportive episode. So if you haven't already, go and check that out. Today, on my own, I am going to be talking something that's in the news quite a lot at the moment, maybe slightly controversial. I'm going to share my thoughts on this, my own experiences. I want to talk about this body positivity movement, which has been happening slowly. It actually started in 1960. It used to be called fat activism. So back in the 60s, when women who wanted to be accepted for their larger size, let's say, obviously the word fat now has negative connotations, and we wouldn't, we don't generally want to call somebody fat, but that's what it was called, fat activism back in the 1960s. And over the years, obviously this has grown, and a lot since social media, has risen in popularity over the years. And this is where I see most of the body positivity things, the body positivity movement. I know the underlining aim of the I keep saying body positivity movement is to allow everyone to feel positive about their bodies. Now, that seems okay on the forefront, but I would question, is that possible? It's impossible to feel positive all of the time, about anything. It's natural to have questions or want to improve or not feel great about something. And in our infradian rhythm as well, we actually, when we look in the mirror at some parts of the month, biologically, we feel like we look better than when we're coming into our winter. So ovulation, we look in the mirror and we feel different. We look different compared to when we're in our menstruation period, sorry. So first of all, I think just even labeling it body positivity is putting pressure on people to always feel amazing about their bodies. Because it's natural that one day you might feel a little bit bloated. You're like, oh, okay, so I'm bloated because of this. I feel it should be more of a body understanding, and I know this is hypocritical to say because I'm doing a whole podcast talking about this. Do we need to talk about it? Do we need to have a label for how we feel about our own bodies? Can we not just promote acceptance of the way that you are? I'm going to share a little bit about my own struggles with that, I guess, and where they stemmed from. I remember, and I invite you to go back to when you were teenager, maybe even younger, but I remember the first time I started being aware of the way that I looked and my body was when I was about 14, I think, and a boy at school called me ironing board because I was flat-chested. My boobs hadn't started to grow yet. I was a late developer. I was a late bloomer. All of my friends had boobs, but up until then, I'd never looked around and thought, all of my friends have got boobs. Why haven't I? Then he pointed it out, and hello, insecurity. One thing there, I just think, if we're trying to change how people look at their bodies, surely this needs to just start at teaching acceptance from a young age. If this is how you look, other people look different. And I know this is a thing, and people, do try and do this, but we could do better. And there's always going to be bullies and things at school. I can't wave my magic wand and this disappears. Teaching more, I was never told to accept my small boobs. Actually, the opposite. Once I was a little bit older, I was told that I had nice legs it's one or the other. You either get your legs and your bum out or you get your boobs out. That was kind of the rule then. I don't know if that still is a rule, but you would have to choose, or you would be, well, it would be chosen for you. You would either have boobs or you would either have a bum, and that's your outfit. That's what you're going to show tonight, rather than it being, okay, you're beautiful the way that you are. Dress how you feel comfortable for your body, which, lucky for me, once 10 years after that, I did actually start to do that, and I learned from that. But I did have a good few years of really disliking the way that I look. It didn't help that, yeah, even as a young adult, even in 20, not even a young adult, 27, 28, being bullied by other adults for the way that I looked. And I know I've openly spoken about my anxiety and not being able to put weight on and feeling sick all the time and not being able to eat. And I turned to crappy fast foods and alcohol thinking, right, this has got loads of calories in it, it's going to help me. Of course it didn't. But I was just fed up with people, commenting on how skinny I was and saying it with a bit of disgust. And, you know, even people looking down on me because I was trying to eat properly, eat nourishing foods, and comments in the canteen at work, when you're at work, oh, why are you eating that? You don't need to diet. Well, actually, no, I'm trying to put weight on, but that's got nothing to do with you. Donna, just growing up with these and coming into 20s, early 30s, people feeling like it's okay to comment. And I felt like because I was on the smaller side, that was also deemed more acceptable. Would you speak to the woman in the canteen who was on the larger side, who was having pizza and chips and KFC for her dinner, and say, you don't need to eat that, you're big already? Or why is it acceptable to say it to the person who's on the smaller side that they shouldn't be eating chicken and vegetables because they don't need to eat that because they're too thin anyway? And I just feel like there was a blurred line then, and it was a real struggle for me. Someone who wanted to feel comfortable in her own skin. Now I do. Now I love my body. I love how she moves. I love what she does. I love how I can move. I love that I'm strong. I love that I'm flexible. I love that I'm mobile, because I've learned, and I guess yoga has been a real big change for me there, that you're forced to stand and look in the mirror, but playing with your body, seeing what it can do, seeing the progress of not being able to touch your toes to then being able to get your head on your shin. Amazing. Me accepting my body for what she is and what she can do, and not the way that she looks. I think this body positivity movement is too much about the way that we look and not about loving your body, nourishing your body, loving your body for what it can do, and making sure your body can do the things that you should be able to do at your age, which I'm going to go through in a minute. I'm going to take a little roundabout detour to, again, the images that are portrayed to women. And I know men do have the same, but this is a majority of women podcast. So when I was growing up, it was early 2000s, so it was Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, flat tummy, low rise, Miss 60 jeans, thong, which I never actually did. I never pulled my thong out. I was a bit embarrassed about that because I was slim and I didn't have a bum. Funnily enough, just psychoanalyzing myself there. That was the expectation. So that was kind of pushed on us. Flat tummy. If someone asked you, does my bum look big in this? The answer was no. We didn't want the big bum. We didn't want that look. I remember I saw a picture the other day, and I remember being in school and this TV show, Eurotrack. One used to watch. There was a woman in that called Lola Ferrari, who at the time was like, oh my God. No one really knew about lip fillers. Obviously people were having them. The boob implants was kind of like the page 3 girls that I know don't exist anymore. You've got your Jordan, but Lola Ferrari had the big massive boobs, and she had a big massive bum. But now when you see her picture, she's not actually that shocking. And it's quite sad that we've gone so far to this extreme of, within a small amount of time. That's just me growing up and becoming an adult. And I don't know if you'll remember Pete Burns as well. So he was very extreme then. And now again, you see people, women, walking around very extreme fillers, breasts, bums, the whole thing, because I just feel that we've gone too far over that acceptance body image line. I guess social media is to blame for that. I know I talk about the Kardashians quite a lot, but they have a lot to answer for as well. There's a lot of young girls that all look very similar because they're all going for this Kardashian look. 18, 21-year-olds having Botox, having fillers. Again, where is the promotion of this is the way that you were born? You look beautiful as you are. Stay like that for as long as possible. One thing that I do look back on and think I am glad that I wasn't of age during this time right now. It's normal for people my age now, women my age, just starting to think, oh, do I need a bit of Botox? Do I have some filler? Asking those questions, not necessarily going to have it, or starting having treatments to, lift the skin, make themselves feel a little bit better. But again, even that, why are we not promoting positive aging? We've got Sarah Jessica Parker who tries to do that and she gets shot down for being a 50-something-year-old woman with wrinkly hands. And I'm not going to lie, I have looked at my hands and thought, are they starting to wrinkle, under certain lights, or are they too veiny? Their hands, just seeing what is like pumped out to us is not body positivity, it's body toxicity. I really do think it's time to just stop talking about it and just change the way that we promote things. I don't think that on Instagram, and obviously this is never going to happen, aesthetics and, boob jobs, fillers, Botox, all of that, I don't think they should be allowed to promote on social media. That should be something that if you want to go and get it, you can go and get it. You know where you need to go, but it doesn't need to be promoted online. It should be that it's available, we know it's available, but if you want it, you can go and get it. If not, it's not in your face. And the same with body positivity, activists. Every size is beautiful. Every single person is a different size genetically. But what we seem to be promoting now is extreme of unhealthiness. Some people are genetically going to be bigger. Their skeletal structure is bigger. They're going to weigh heavier. They're going to have more natural fat on their body. What I feel is dripping through now, I watched some videos and they were fat influencers who they do things like come and spend a day with me, and they eat so much unhealthy food during the day that their breakfast is like KFC, then they have that McDonald's, then they have like liters of ice cream. That's not body positivity at all. It is taking it to the extreme and then making and putting on other people that, it's okay to be unhealthily big. Now think of it the other way. So in the early 2000s, when, and I know anorexia is still a thing, eating disorders are still a thing, but I remember there was a bit of a craze of those pro-rexia websites. They were promoting anorexia, bulimia, this is how you make yourself sick. And I feel like we're doing exactly the same with some of this big body positivity as that on the other scale. So rather than them saying, this is how you make yourself sick, don't eat. I remember watching, it was a really good documentary. Victoria Beckham went to a hospice where there was anorexic girls and they were saying, drink this and drink water before you go in to get weighed, so that it kind of tricks them, and eat tissue paper. They even had their own ways of hiding things on the plate. So you cut your food up in a certain way and it looks like you've had more food than you actually have. Now, that is extreme, and it was seen as extreme at the time, and there was a stop, that was stopped. People don't want to promote girls becoming anorexia and the look of your bones showing, because we're programmed, we're told that that is unhealthy. If you see a skeletal woman, you know that that's unhealthy, and I'm guessing because it reminds us of death. So aesthetically, it reminds us of death. I think that is exactly the same as watching these videos of these big is beautiful. We're basically saying obese is beautiful, eat yourself to death. eat yourself to heart attack. On YouTube, a video going around, and it was actually Blair White, who was an amazing YouTuber. She made a video talking about fat influencers, and there was a range of, there was some popping up, and they were like eating really crazy food, and Blair was like, she died, she died, she died, she died, he died. All early in their 20s to 30s, and they all died of heart attacks, of obesity. Their whole channel was all about body positivity, big is beautiful, come and watch what I eat. And I think it's gone too far. I think that is just promoting eating yourself to death, whereas previously it was starving yourself to death. So where do we draw the line here? There's now even, you're fat phobic, according to these influencers, fat influencers, that you're fat phobic. First of all, no, I'm not scared of fat people. And maybe I'm scared of getting fat, but when I'm thinking about getting fat, I'm thinking about being unhealthy. I want to nourish my body. I want to love my body. I want to eat healthy foods. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to run without getting out of breath. I want to be able to be active. If that makes me fat phobic, then so be it. But I'm not scared of you. I'm scared of being unhealthy. I want to look after my body. The way that they can even say that you're fat phobic if you go to the gym, and I urge you to go and watch some of these online, because it is crazy. Just gone too far that now it's toxic. They're not promoting, this is me genetically and this is what I eat on a daily basis. And, it's not nourishment. They're not exercising. They're promoting to, get bigger and bigger and bigger, so much bigger that they're trying to protest against the size of airplanes, and the aisles down the airplane, they should get a free seat next to them because they're big and they need 2 seats. And I just think, no, that is not okay. That is your choice to be doing that for views or whatever, but you're putting your own life at risk. In the same way as we wouldn't promote, let's not eat so we look like a skeleton. But there doesn't seem to be the same perspective on being underweight and being severely underweight and severely overweight. Now we need to just meet in the middle. We need to learn about our bodies. We need to learn what is healthy for us. What kind of lifestyle do we need to live so that we can walk up the stairs without being out of breath, so that we can play, if you have children, play with your children, so that your heart is healthy, so that you have a healthy resting heart rate. Because the more you eat, the more overweight you are, the more prone you are to high blood pressures, heart attacks, diabetes, all of these diseases that can eventually kill you because of the fact that you're not eating correctly. And we're falling into a trap of this being body positive when it's not. It's body toxic, as I've just said, and I'm going to keep saying it. So we need to be body neutral. We need to teach, help, learn our children, each other, that when we look in the mirror, what we see is us. And it's okay sometimes to not completely feel positive about what you see, because we've got our hormones that are fluctuating and we feel differently about it every single day. It's okay to have a little muffin top on your tummy, because you know what? That's protecting your ovaries. It's okay to have cellulite. It's okay to have a big nose, big ears, whatever it is that you're feeling discomfort with and not positive with, because that is you and that is the way that you look and that is beautiful. But I feel like instead it's just to the extreme. It doesn't matter what we look like. It's how we feel. It's the inside that counts. And I know that sounds really cliche, but there's this constant pressure from social media, from society, first of all, to feel positive about ourselves, to feel positive about our size, to promote, big bodies are beautiful. Yes, they are, as long as they're healthy and that's the natural size for that person, and their heart is healthy and they eat healthy and they're nourishing their body, because it's just another version of an extreme eating disorder. We're just promoting eating disorders, whether it's not eating or eating too much. And I think we need to pull back to just stop talking about weight. Is it something that we need to mention? Do we need to always talk about people's appearances? Is it time to just let that go and let people be? And it would take a lot of training, because it's the first thing. I was even watching, my dad is here still, and he had the news on. And who was it? It was a politician, no idea what her name was. News presenters said something about her hair. One of the other presenters said, would you talk about her hair if that was a man? I actually thought, no, they probably wouldn't have mentioned his hair if it was a man. And it just seemed to come so natural from this other person on the news to comment on the way that the politician looked. We've all been guilty of it, and we all, unfortunately, at some point have or do judge people by their appearances. And again, this is where what we need to do. This is what we need to change, not promoting unhealthy, oversized or undersized body expectations. We need to promote health. We need to promote feeling good. We need to promote eating healthy, exercising, getting sunlight. All of these things that actually help us physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I actually saw the other day, and I couldn't tell you what state, but it was on something that I follow on social media, and one of the the myths in these pageants, one first was a man who identifies as a woman, which again, that's another podcast for another time. I know I've already spoken about that, but surely there's enough women out there who were born women that could actually take that trophy. So patriarchy wins again there. And another girl who is supposed to be a body positive model, who, yes, she was a larger size, but then I just think, okay, what is that showing other girls? What is that showing other young girls, that go and eat as much food as you like and become unhealthily big to be like her, putting your own health at risk? Because that also is not okay. We just need healthy sized bodies. Don't think we're promoting that at the moment. Promoting, where's the promotion of females in sports? And not everyone likes sports, but it's not promoted. The promotion of eating vegetables, eating fruits, and looking after yourself, it's not there. We're talking about the wrong things. Now, obviously my conspiracy brain here, it's the people who are at the top wanting to keep people sick. The more sick people there are, the more money that certain people make, and there's just a chain of events that go around and around and around for that. But we can take control of this. We need to push health positivity, looking after your health, thinking about what you're putting in your body. Of course, eat cake, do those things, but understand that, having KFC for breakfast every single day followed by a litre of ice cream is not healthy. If you want to be here for a long time, then you need to be looking at what you're eating. And I know I'm speaking to the converted people who are listening to this podcast, but I'm sure that you agree that it's just time that we put a nail in this coffin and started to promote health. Let me know what you think. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope it's given you something to think about, maybe reflecting on your own experiences with your own body image issues like mine, how you might overcome them now you're older. And if you have young girls, young daughters, young sons, how you can start to promote with them loving the way that you are, and as a love to your body, eating nourishing foods, exercising, drinking water, doing those things that we actually need, which is real body positivity, love, self-love, self-care. Anyway, let me know what you think. Please reach out to me, and I will see you all next week. I have a guest planned next week. We're going to be talking, it's all about health and fitness again in the next episode. We'll see you all in that episode. Thank you.